So apparently there are people that try to warn everybody before Xbox purchased Activision Blizzard King that it was going to be bad for gamers. One of them is Reforge. And then there are probably a few others that are lining up to all say that they told you so, that this was going to be bad for everybody. What these people would never want to tell you is that Activision Blizzard King is an asset, number one. Number two, that Microsoft has also spent, if not more, when you compare the transactions on AI investment. And number three, when you kind of look at it, it really has affected PlayStation's business, as Jim Ryan, who was basically the biggest advocate for it not to happen, said that if they were to receive a degraded version of Call of Duty, that their business will never recover. Now, they all want to come back and turn it to be, oh, well, you see, the acquisition of Activision Blizzard King has now put Xbox in this place where they're facing a lot of scrutiny, based on some hidden rumor from Jason Schreier from Bloomberg. You see, the context is weird because we've been hearing about this so-called 30% for a long time. It's as if they went ahead and retroactively pulled one of these Xbox dead on my calendar type news to put today in perspective to make it seem like, oh, so this is the reason why we're seeing all these price increases. Let me show you what I'm talking about. It's a sleight of hand. Watch it very carefully. So let's say somewhere around timeline today, let's just say today is today, right? And right before today, we had, say, Game Pass increases. Let's just call it line go up. Xbox started doing, well, we don't want to take a loss on our consoles, so we're going to basically sell them at mostly cost. How do you know that it's mostly cost, VG? Well, because Matthew Humphreys said that Xbox loses $200 or more on every console sold. Reforge Gaming, pay attention to data. I haven't made a video about your stuff in a while, but it's a tweet. I'm not going to sit there and listen to your videos, man. They're kind of rough because, again, you just get me shouting and yelling. And then let's say go back all the way, just say here, perhaps that other Game Pass price increase, the one that went from about $15 to $20. Let's do that one over here. And then let's do Amy Hood somewhere around under oath, and then some stuff from Activision. She was looking at, say, margins of about 30%. That's what she was looking for. The funny thing is, all this while, as Xbox was doing even, let's just say, layoffs as well, too, because they've been cutting staff. This is what these big greed corpos do, right? They've been laying people off and so on and so forth. We've been seeing this trend go on for a long time. But they have now somehow retroactively brought this particular 30% as a, oh, yeah, we told you so. Yeah, we told you so, and all that stuff. But none of these same people want to admit that PlayStation also has been doing pretty much the same thing, raising prices on its own hardware. Let's go ahead and put it over here. I'm actually in a conversation now with somebody who's telling me, oh, that PlayStation didn't raise prices twice on their hardware. I'm like, get out of here. They did. They raised it in Japan, they raised it in New Zealand, then they raised it in the United States. 3 different regions. They were like, oh, well, it was 3 different regions. Man, who cares? What are they trying to achieve? They're trying to achieve the exact same line go up as they sat down and told you exactly how it is that they want to achieve their extra 10%. But the question here is that this is so funny because all these folk are making it sound like Activision Blizzard King is the reason for this. No, Activision Blizzard King crippled PlayStation. Y'all don't want to say it, but PlayStation was not ashamed saying it when they felt that they were actually sharing internal documents. It wasn't until the leak that we got to see that. When I published that and I said that, you should have seen these PlayStation fanboys. They lost their minds. They came out there saying, when did they cripple, PlayStation? My dude, PlayStation hadn't been the same since it couldn't make its way into the Piscatella 15 and used another person's game to do it. We all know this. Y'all should not sit there and pretend like PlayStation is not vying or dying to get one of these live service games. Relax. They know exactly what it is that Xbox has pretty much done in the ecosystem. So all of you that tried to warn, let me be honest with you guys. I don't think that any single one of you really understood exactly why PlayStation was fighting against that deal. Now, maybe you were warning Xbox fans about monopoly and all that, which is crazy that you were warning them. What were you warning them about? You were warning them about so-called monopoly, right? That Xbox was going to consolidate the market. Yet now here you are saying that this is going to damage and destroy Xbox. Well, your warnings were actually for a whole different case. If I actually can go back and check that, you weren't warning for this particular scenario in this particular case. Maybe you were talking about, oh, maybe they're going to want ROI. But you got to understand, Activision Blizzard King is doing its thing and it's bringing in its own ROI as its own entity. A lot of what y'all are saying is kind of weird at the end of the day. Don't you actually get it? So I really want this whole "we told you so" nonsense to stop. I don't think I've seen many PlayStation pundits actually get into the "I told you so" category. That's all kinds of nonsense. Plus, if y'all want to go ahead and hang your hats on this rumor, I bid you actually good luck. The one thing you're not actually considering is, why would Amy Hood be putting 30% on deck if y'all have been claiming for the longest time that Xbox wasn't profitable? Would it not actually make sense that they have probably reached some percentage level of profitability that Amy Hood sees 30% in sight that y'all are not seeing as you propagate this rumor? The more you continue to put this rumor out here, the more multiple possibilities come into play, and people start questioning, are y'all even considering this as some kind of a chess game, or are you guys all just all checkers? But I've noticed one thing. When it comes to Xbox, everybody develops tunnel vision. For instance, you all are saying, go ahead, let me just show you this. You all are saying Amy Hood wants 30%. The question is, where is Xbox currently? And where are they trying to go to with this 30%? They have to be somewhere between 0% and 30%. Y'all have sworn that somewhere, somehow, they were at 0%. But it seems to me that Amy Hood feels like there is at least X% of them, which is no longer 0, that allows for them to be able to springboard to this 30%. So here's what might be going on. Those of you that have been talking about Xbox's profitability, you actually are now putting yourselves in a position where you may have either been lying or you absolutely do not know what the heck it is you're talking about. Because again, here is a mathematical probability for you. Why are they trying to hit 30%? Have they hit 5% and Amy says she wants 25? Have they hit 6% and Amy says she wants 24? According to the rumor, because it's not corroborated by anybody, right? That, she's not asking 30% of Xbox. That's just the rumor. That's how you guys always foment. But if I were to entertain your rumor, have they hit 10% and Amy wants an extra 20? Huh? Have they hit 15? And Amy says she wants 15 more. Have they hit 20? And Amy says she wants 10 more. If you all are not going to entertain these possibilities, then I know that you all are basically fugaziing your way through this whole thing. Because you got to look at the parameters. You got to look at Jim Ryan. You got to look at how, the leaks put PlayStation in a very precarious place. They said it. They said they've been leapfrogged. If you're not putting these things from PlayStation's perspective and Xbox's perspective, but only from the I want to be this subject matter expert perspective, we get it. Every one of us has to beat our chest and from time to time toot our horns. We understand. But at least give some measure of consideration from the perspectives of what you think may be going on in the eyes of those who actually, it's their job. It's in their best interest that they make these things happen for their respective companies. I think that there is at least an X percentage point, which is an unknown number, as Xbox does not unveil its profit margins, that would make for them to say we want to go to 30%. If it was 0 and they want to go to 30%, then I am certain that they would not spend $80 billion, or is it 69 or $70 billion in investing into this company. Y'all need to go back and think about things very carefully. And plus, if you were saying, the 30% is making them raise the price of Game Pass and all this, but y'all remember that you guys were the ones that were saying that Game Pass wasn't profitable, right? You spoke it into existence. So I'm sure all of you can actually join in and take some responsibility. Can't you? Can't you? Or maybe not. Okay. Maybe you don't believe in that kind of, thing that people can actually say things and then eventually happens. Not saying you have that power anyways, but I mean, you got to think about it. It's something that you all were wishing for. Are they really making money? Now they are. What do you want to do? Hit your head on the wall or something? I don't know. Peace out.